Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. We move on insha'Allah Azza wa Jal to talk about the following chapter that deals with shaking hands with children as found in chapter 439. Hadith number 966. Who will read it?
Hadith number 966, page 637. From Salamah bin Mufrad, who said, I saw Anas bin Malik shake hands with some people and he asked me, who are you? I said, the Mawla of the Banu Layth. He stroked my head 3 times and said, may Allah bless you.
Mawla. What does Mawla mean? Caretaker. Okay. Master. Okay. Mawla. In Islamic terminology, when someone is named as Mawla, it means that he is the freed slave. How is that? In slavery, when someone is freed, he becomes the mawla of his master. So he's attributed to the family of his master. And this is why in fiqh, the reasons of inheritance are divided into 3 types. Reason number 1 is by lineage, by nasab. So a father inherits his son, a son inherits his mother, etc. This is blood relations. Number 2, marriage. A man inherits his wife, a woman inherits her husband. Number 3, al-wala. And this is sort of a pledge of allegiance or so. And this is related to the freed slave. So if I free my slave, now he's a free man. But if he doesn't have family and he dies, who inherits him? I inherit him. Do you know the story of Barira? No, Barira was a slave woman who came to Aisha to serve her from time to time. One time, she went to her master and she said to them, how about if I buy myself out of slavery? And this is something also found in Surah An-Nur, and it is in the books of fiqh, a chapter called Al-Mukataba. So they agreed. So she went to Aisha and she said, Mother Aisha, will you help me in freeing myself by giving me the installments that I promised my masters to pay them every month? She agreed for like 12 installments in a year, but she doesn't have a job. So Mother Aisha told her, I'll tell you something better. I will buy you off. I will pay for you the whole amount. So she went to her masters and told them that Mother Aisha wants to buy me off from you. So instead of 12 months, she's going to give you the whole amount in cash. They said, no problem, but the wala is for us. She buys you off, she frees you, that's good for her. But still, we become your mawla. We become the one to inherit you if you die. And the remaining of the hadith was that the Prophet was angered by this, and he said, buy her off and tell them, yes, you accept the condition, because this condition is void, it is invalid. And then the Prophet said, alayhi salatu wasalam, why do you make conditions that are invalid in the book of Allah? Any condition that is invalid according to the book of Allah is void. Why do we bring this topic? We bring this topic because of the word of Mawla. So Mawla, one of the meanings is the master. I am your Mawla. In the hadith on the battle of Uhud, when the idol worshippers thought that the Prophet was killed because of the injuries that he sustained, the Prophet told them, do not speak, do not announce it, because now they were not actually engaged in fighting. So Abu Sufyan came. He said, is Muhammad alive? The Prophet said, do not answer him. Is Abu Bakr alive? The Prophet said, do not answer him. Is Umar alive? The Prophet said, do not answer him. Abu Sufyan said, if these are dead, then we have won. Umar could not control himself. He said, no, they are alive and they will kick your ass, in my interpretation. You know Umar, he was really tough. So he started to say things, and the Prophet ordered them to say things. So he said, Al-Uzza has won. Uzza is their idol. The Prophet said to him, say, Al-Izzatu lillah wa la izzata lakum. Pride and honor is for Allah and nothing for you. And part of the things that they exchange, the Prophet said, tell him, Allahu Mawlana wa la Mawla lakum. Allah is our Lord and you guys don't have a Lord to worship. So Mawla can be Lord, can be master, can be the freed slave. And this is why the Prophet said, alayhi salatu wasalam, talking about Zayd ibn Haritha, that he is Mawlana, that he is our freed slave. Zayd ibn Haritha, as you know, was what? The freed, adopted son of the Prophet ﷺ, until Allah Azza wa Jal banned this. So now we go back to the hadith. Anas ibn Malik saw this child, shook hands with him. What does this indicate? It indicates that giving pride to the children, encouraging them, treating them as adults, showing them respect is part of our religion. Nowadays, especially when men gather and a child speaks, what do we say? Shh, shh, don't speak. Respect the elders. Do this, do that. This is not the way Islam tells us to deal with children. Anas, though he was a great companion of the Prophet ﷺ, yet he dealt with this child in this way, shaking hands with him, asking him about his name, where he was from, and then patting his head, wiping on his hair. Where did he get this from? He learnt it from the Prophet ﷺ. In an authentic hadith, it states that the Prophet used to ﷺ play with the children of the Ummah. Whenever he meets them, he used to play with them, joke with them, try to show them the soft side, and he used to wipe over their head. So when we do something like this, and we always put in our minds that this is the way of the Prophet ﷺ. In the hadith of Anas, the Prophet used to visit the Ansar, the people of Medina. And whenever he sees the children of Ansar coming, they used to come, they circulate him. He used to shake hands with them, wipe over their heads, and pray for them. Now, what would the children feel when they see their role model, the head of the state, the biggest man around, everybody is respecting, going out of his way to show his kindness and love to them? Abdullah ibn Hisham was an infant, was a very small child at the time of the Prophet, but he remembers, he remembers him. He says that my mother, Zainab bint Humayd, took me to the Prophet ﷺ. So she said, O Prophet of Allah, give him pledge of allegiance. The Prophet said he's too small. He's 3-4 years of age. He doesn't give and take the Pledge of Allegiance. So the Prophet ﷺ wiped over his head and made dua for him. Also in Abu Darda, may Allah be pleased with him, he said that the Prophet ﷺ was asked by a man complaining of the hardness of his heart. Do you find sometimes your heart to be hard? Sometimes we go through phases, we feel that there is something wrong in us, we want to fix it. So he is complaining, "Oh Prophet of Allah, my heart is hard, it's stiff. What to do to soften it?" So the Prophet gives him an advice, alayhi salam. Do you want your heart to be softened? And do you want your supplication to be answered? And the man said, yes. The Prophet said, have mercy over the orphan and wipe his head and give him from your food. Your heart will be softened and you will attain what you are looking for. So wiping over the head of an orphan means that you show him compassion, that you show him love, that you show him that you care for him. This mercy, the Prophet tells us, it softens your heart and it makes you attain whatever you are looking for. Okay, what about giving children salam, like Anas did? Anas says, the Prophet ﷺ passed by children playing. So he stopped and gave salam to them. Imagine the president or the king or the prime minister passing by children playing football or here badminton. And he stops and says, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. How would they feel? They will feel 100% devotion to this person who is giving them time to give them salam and to look after them and to care for them. Also Anas says, I was playing once with the boys and the Prophet stopped and gave us salam. And this shows you the wisdom and the character of the Prophet alayhi as-salatu was-salam. The Prophet in his seerah, which we need to study thoroughly, used to go out of his way to care for children. He was once given a piece of cloth, which is a little bit expensive. So he said, who should I give it to? I will not wear it. Who should we give it to? Then he said, alayhi salatu wasalam, when they did not answer him, bring me Khalid. Who's Khalid? Khalid was a 6-year-old girl who went with her parents to Abyssinia in Hijrah and came back. So when they brought her to him, the Prophet gave her this piece of cloth and say, MashaAllah, this is sana. Sana in Abyssinian language, it means beautiful. So the Prophet is even speaking in a different language with this child so that she would understand. Though she was Arab, but she was raised in Abyssinia. So, sana Khalid, sana. And he was telling her, you may wear until it is worn out. And no woman lived longer than her. May Allah be pleased with her, because of the dua of the Prophet alayhi as-salatu was-salam. Also, Mahmud ibn al-Rabi', he is 5 years old. He said, I remember seeing the Prophet ﷺ performing wudu. And I was looking at him when he was making wudu, turning water in his mouth, making madmada. He looked at me and spat the water in my face. Why would the Prophet do this? He's playing with him. And of course, this water is barakah from the Prophet ﷺ. Imagine if the Prophet throws this water from his mouth on you. This is barakah. You seek Allah's blessing out of that. And he remembers nothing except seeing the Prophet ﷺ and spitting water playing with him like this. The Prophet ﷺ, when we look at what Anas did, this is not something out of the blue. This is how they learned it from the Prophet ﷺ. Being serious with children is not good. It is not part of the Sunnah. Anas, may Allah be pleased with him, said that I had a small young brother. And this brother of mine had a bird in a cage. And the bird died. So my 4-year-old brother was saddened by it. So the Prophet, whenever he visited us, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he used to joke with my 4-year-old brother. He said, Aba Umair. His name is Aba Umair. ماذا فعل النغير? What did the bird do? So the boy says, it died. So he asks him often and often and often and often, parts of joking with the child. This is way of the Prophet ﷺ in being kind and merciful with the children. This hadith of Abu Umair, by the way, Imam Ahmad, he was visited by Imam Shafi'i. So the slave girl put wudu in front of the bedroom of Imam Shafi'i so that he makes wudu for night prayer and then for Fajr. And then in the following day, the maid talked and said to Imam Ahmad, this is the Imam you are boarding us to death with. He's the greatest Imam of the world. He is Shafi'i, he is Faqih. He said, yes. Why? She said, he is a bad man. Imagine that he went from Isha till Fajr, he did not perform wudu, meaning that he did not pray night prayer. What kind of an Imam does not pray night prayer and makes witr? But Imam Ahmad laughed and did not comment. And after that, he spoke to Shafi'i and he said, by the way, my maid said so and so and so about you. And Imam Shafi'i, to the surprise of Imam Ahmad, said, that's true, I did not pray night prayer last night. But do you know why? He said, I spent the whole night contemplating about the hadith of the Prophet ﷺ, Ya Aba Umair, ماذا فعل النغير, and I came up with 80 beneficial points and lessons to be learned from this hadith. He did not pray night prayer, contemplating on a hadith, and he came out with 80 plus lessons. Which means that what is better for the ummah? Praying 100 rak'ah between you and Allah, or coming out and coming up with 80 plus lessons? And what kind of lessons can you get out of Ya Aba Umair ماذا فعل النغير? What kind of mentality and thinking and intellectuality he had. Al-Hafidh ibn Hajar, may Allah have mercy on his soul, who is one of the great Shafi'i scholars, whose greatest book is Fathul Bari, Sharhu Sahih al-Imam al-Bukhari. He used to be known as Amirul Mu'mineen in Hadith. He had books in Mustalah al-Hadith. He had books in Al-Rijal, Kitab Tahdhib al-Tahdhib, among so many books of his. He said, I wrote down up to, I think, 90 lessons learned from the hadith. Listed it himself. So he added few to what Ash-Shafi'i might have. What can you obtain of this hadith? He said, first of all, the lesson number 1, talking to those who cannot be accountable. He's 4 years old. The Prophet is talking to him and giving a nickname to the children. His name is Aba Umair, the father of Umair. He's 4-year-old, which means that it's permissible. The ruling on hunting in Medina. In Mecca it is haram. Haram. Is hunting in Medina halal or not? It is halal because the boy had a bird in a cage, and then he said, no, this bird might have come from out of haram. So those who say that it's halal don't necessarily have a reason for that. The ruling on captivating animals and keeping them. So one asks you, is it permissible to have birds in a cage, parrots, etc.? You say yes. So what's the evidence? This hadith. And he kept on listing and listing and listing. And this is just one hadith. And a hadith that no one would ever think that has any benefit in it. Aba Umair, ماذا فعل النغير? What is this? But it shows you how hard the scholars of Islam used to try and to get the benefits from the Quran and from the Sunnah. Also, the Prophet ﷺ used to joke with Anas. And he used to say, oh, the person with two ears. How many ears do you have? But when we say you have two ears, meaning that your ears are long or big or wide. But even if your ears are normal, when you hear this, you have two ears, you make you feel a little bit awkward. You look in the mirror, maybe something happened to it. So the Prophet used to joke with this 10-year-old Anas ibn Malik, may Allah be pleased with him. The Prophet was very merciful with children. Do you have any recollection of a story that you can remember of his kindness with children or mercy upon children? We're not getting angry with Anas when he told him to do something, sent him on an errand, and after a while Anas was playing with the boys and the Prophet came to him and he said, what did you do? I said, this is, I'm on my way. No, this is tolerance. This is not mercy and kindness. You see, people are sleeping after lunch. I know the feeling. But you have to think. Don't you recollect one story where the Prophet, when he saw the Hassan and Hussein and he carried them during the khutbah, this is not mercy, this is love. For example, one of his daughters sent to him that my son is dying. So the Prophet sent to her back, stay calm, be patient, and wish well for Allah Azza wa Jal for your child, your grandson. So she sent, by Allah you shall come. She forced him to come. So he came, he held his grandson while his soul was coming out, and he wept and cried. Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. It shows you his mercy. Not only that, even to the strangers. Once he was praying, leading the salat, and all of a sudden a child started to cry. What did the Prophet do, alayhi salatu wasalam? He finished the prayer in a very fast fashion, not prolonging it as he used to. Very quickly finished the prayer and then explained. He said that I heard the child cry and I was afraid for his mother's heart, because his mother was distracted and preoccupied by her son's crying. So I finished the prayer quickly. Now you compare apple to apple. If the same incident happens in our masjid, what will happen after salah? They will shout at the mother, and you will hear the women in the women's section. And every Ramadan we hear this. The sisters, la, 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 la. And the men downstairs are laughing. Sheikh, talk. I said, no, I'm not going to comment. I can't comment. They will put their fire on me. And the sister's voice is raised. Even the men. If a man brings his child, you will find the men after salat shouting at him, Ya akhi, don't bring your son. Ya akhi, this is haram. Allah Azza wa Jal will punish you for that. What is the sunnah? The Prophet ﷺ to hastily finish the prayer so that he would not bother the parent, the father, the mother. And I told you this story, I think last year, or I told someone else, I don't remember. In my masjid, I prayed once Isha. And during the salat, a girl started crying behind me. Yani, definitely she came with her father. So, following the sunnah, I concluded the prayer very quickly. So instead of finishing the prayer as usual in 5 minutes, I finished it in 2 minutes. They called me the Ferrari Imam. Now with Tesla is even faster. So I finished the prayer according to the sunnah. The prayer was correct, but quickly. Wallahi, after I finished, one of the elders, as usual, the grumpy grandfather, started shouting in the masjid, Ya akhi, fear Allah, don't do this, what are you doing? You've distracted us. It was a 4-year-old girl with a 7-year-old or 6-year-old girl, and with their father. The man did not say a single word. He took his daughters and left. But after this, grumpy old man made a scene in the masjid. Everybody was looking. You know what happens in a masjid when someone shouts and everybody. And we are professionals in making scenes. We do not pay attention to the people's feelings. Even if someone makes a mistake. What's wrong? He made a mistake in a masjid. That's a problem, wallahi, masajid. I was praying in a masjid, not as an imam, and all of a sudden, one in the congregation, mobile went on. And the brother followed the Hanafi school of thought, which says that if you move 3 times, your prayer is over. So the guy is, and the music, I think it was music or something, a symphony or what, I don't know. And it kept on, and some people, when they ring and you're disconnected, ring again, and ring again. What do you do when someone does this to you and you forgot your mobile? Switch it off, answer it. When your mobile rings during salah, answer it. When you answer it, he hears Allahu Akbar and he will never call again. But you hang up in his face, he will call until you answer, especially if it's your wife. So, see, I'm away from my wife. This is the only time I get to vent a little bit. So the brother, after finishing the salat, all of us were shocked. The imam went to the brother who was sitting in the first row and starting pushing him in his shoulder. Don't you fear Allah? Physically. Whoa. Don't you fear Allah Azza wa Jal? Don't you do? Why are you doing this? Ya akhi, and the man stood up and started pushing the imam. And they started fighting in the masjid. Now, the man, okay, but the imam? Since then, I haven't prayed in that masjid. Seriously. Because if this guy is, I cannot accept him as an imam. This kind of behavior is unacceptable. Going back to the original story. I finished salat. I went immediately out of the masjid from the imam's door to meet this man to apologize to him. So when I met him and I said, Yani, forgive our grandparent. He's grumpy. He always does this, but Yani, his heart is clean. Wallahi, immediately the man started crying. He started weeping like not like a girl, Yani, like a child. He started weeping. What is his problem? He said, their mother divorced me 4 months ago. And I have no one in the house to take care of them. And I am trying to propose to any woman. Do not send me any proposals, please. I don't know the man. So I don't have anyone to take care of them, and I cannot find a woman to marry them, and I just wanted to pray one Isha. It's been so long I haven't prayed. And this is what I meet and face. So never ever jump to conclusions. You never know your brother, why did he do this? Always give the benefit of the doubt. This is what the Prophet used to say, alayhi salam. This is what he used to do. So the Prophet used to care for children even if they are infants and crying in the masjid. He affects the whole of the ummah by finishing the prayer quickly, just so that he caters for the feeding of the mother of the child. طيب, moving on.
Hadith 968, page 638. Abdullah ibn Yazid said, Al-Barat ibn Azib radiallahu anhu said, part of the full greeting is to shake your brother's hand.
Part of the full greeting is to shake the hands of your brother. Now, in Islam, greeting is Assalamu alaikum. It's true. Better is Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. Better is Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. You get 30 good deeds, etc. But shaking hands is part of the Islamic greeting as well. Nowadays, due to Western influence, people do not shake hands a lot. They do what? Or maybe all part of the Western influence on the Muslims. Ibn al-Qayyim says the gesturing through the eyebrows or the head or the hand is part of the Christians. So when you see someone and say Assalamu alaikum, this is part of the Christian way. You should not do this. Only say Assalamu alaikum. If you do this, any kind of gesture, this is not part of Islamic gesture. Nodding your head. The exception is if I see someone over a distance. If I say Assalamu alaikum, will it reach him? So they say this is the only time when you can combine between gesture and verbal so that he would know that you're giving salam. So say Assalamu alaikum. This is permissible. Alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. And gesturing by the hand, by the way, is also in Islam when someone gives salam when you're praying. So I'm praying in the masjid. There's no one in the masjid except myself. And someone comes next to me and says, Assalamu alaikum, Sheikh Assim. This is his IQ. I do not blame him for that. Islamically, what should I do? Is this. The Prophet ﷺ, whenever he used to pray and someone gives salam, he replies by raising the hand in the prayer. This is an exception. Other than that, no. We give salam through giving the verbal Assalamu alaikum. Now, is there any benefit from shaking hands? Listen to this hadith. The Prophet said, alayhi salam, no two Muslims meet and shake hands with one another, Allah Azza wa Jal would forgive their sins before they separate. Allah would forgive their sins before they separate. By doing what? By shaking hands. Nowadays, when we meet Muslims, we say, Assalamu alaikum. What is this? Move, extend your hand. Say, no, Assalamu alaikum. From away. This is cultural, right? They do this instead of this. No. The way of getting Allah's forgiveness for your sins by shaking hands. Do we shake one hand or two hands? One says the more is the better. Put your feet as well. Batteries. Service here is very bad. Why not use Duracell? It lasts longer. This is ever ready. Yeah, it's turned off.
Okay.
You buy cheap, you get cheap. What do you want?
It's a good point, but I didn't buy it. You got it for free.
Wallah, mashallah. Nothing beats free.
All right, there you go. Just check
Where was I? What? The other one?
Please be alive.
Tesla. All
Yes,
battery.
Tesla.
Jazakallah khair. We will come to that inshallah. Where was I? Shaking hands with one or two. Two is cultural. One is the sunnah, but two is cultural. This is found in India, in some countries. Is it prohibited or not? This is permissible. We do not say it's sunnah, you're getting more reward, and we do not say it is an innovation, you should avoid it. If you do it, sometimes it shows your affection to someone when you do or use two hands. Now, let me finish what I have in front of me. Anas ibn Malik, may Allah be pleased with him, was asked, was shaking hands a common practice among the companions of the Prophet ﷺ? Anas said, yes, it was. Narrated by Al-Bukhari. And the Prophet said ﷺ in a similar hadith, when a believer meets another mu'min, another believer, and he shake hands with him and he takes his hand in his hand, their sins will fall down like the leaves of a tree. So all of the sins would go down. And this is part of the sunnah. Coming back to the issue of hugging. The Prophet ﷺ did not used to hug his companions. It's only shaking hands if you wish. Hugging is only recommended and permissible when you meet someone coming from travel. This is the sunnah of the Prophet ﷺ. Did I say something wrong? Can we replay? Did I say something wrong? They didn't hear. Alhamdulillah. I thought I was saying something that was outrageous or... So let me repeat again. So hugging, when you hug your brother, this was not from the sunnah, except when a person comes from traveling. Am I doing anything wrong? Seriously, I'm becoming suspicious. Did I say anything wrong? Why is this commotion then? Let me repeat. So, what people do nowadays, whenever they see each other on one side, this is American. This is from movies, not from the sunnah. The sunnah is when someone you don't see. Okay, what about kissing? The Arabs kiss a lot. And they differ from one culture to the other. Some, in Egypt, one kiss to the right, one kiss to the left. In Saudi, one kiss to the right and 3 to the left. Huh? Or countless to the left. Yeah, sometimes, yes. So what is the ruling on that? There is a restriction on that, because kissing is not part of the sunnah. Some scholars say that this is cultural, it's recommended. Some say that this is not at all part of the sunnah, so one should avoid it. I feel that it is in between. Because in Saudi Arabia, the best of course is embracing. The brothers in Sudan, they have a very beautiful way of doing it. They place their right hand on your left shoulder. And you place your right hand on my left shoulder. So it's like this. Assalamu alaikum, كيف حالك, ازيك, أخبارك, ازيك, مع السلامة, ازيك, مع السلامة, السلام عليكم. That's it. This is what happens from a distance. The brothers in Afghanistan, Pakistan, India, they embrace no kissing. This is also good. When you see someone you haven't seen for a long time. But to do it on regular basis, this is not part of the sunnah. The sunnah is to shake hands. What is the ruling on shaking hands of the opposite gender? Now, this people here, huh? They say, what? This is shocking. I've seen people very lenient. The sisters shaking hands with a colleague, with someone in the market, with cousins, brother-in-law. All of this is totally prohibited in Islam. The Prophet said, alayhi salatu wasalam, it is best for a man to be stabbed in his head with a needle of steel rather than touching a woman that is not permissible for him. It is this serious. So Sheikh, the heart is clean. If the heart is clean, you have to go and check your hormone levels. Because you're not a real man. There is nothing called clean heart. Maybe you're gay, Allahu A'lam. Don't ever tell me that a normal man shaking hands physically with a woman who's not mahram to him it's normal. You do not allow this to your sister, do you? You do not accept it to your wife. So why do you accept for yourself to do this? Sheikh, but she works with me 8 hours in the office. Working with you to begin with, is it haram? Sisters go to work with men. They spend with these colleagues more time than they spend with their own husbands. And then they complain, we have a lot of divorce rate. Of course. You take your full makeup, but I'm wearing hijab, Sheikh. Yeah, but you're putting full makeup. The foundation, you have eyeliner, kuhul, a little bit, the red thing they put, I don't know what they call it. I know them in Arabic, see. I have 13 daughters, so I know everything that goes behind the scene. MashaAllah, tabarakallah. So they go to work wearing perfume and sitting with a stranger, and the man, mashallah, also spends similar time wearing his makeup. And he goes to work and they spend 8 hours doing what? Working? Maybe, but they come to form a bond after a while. This is human nature. I'm going for lunch. Would you like me to bring you some sandwiches? MashaAllah, tabarakallah. Tell you what, let's not go to lunch together. It's cheaper. There's a package deal. And then divorce takes place. She goes home. She sees this orangutan monkey. And she compares him to the one in the office. No. She complains. See, now this is funny, but this is what's happening. I do marriage counseling and I sit with a lot of couples, and this is exactly what happens. I was once driving in my big suburban car, American muscle car, and this Audi comes from behind me and honks me and gives me high beam, light beam. So I gave him way, but he still keeps on doing it. So I thought, this guy wants to fight, I'm ready for a fight. I park my car and I come out of my car in anger and rage, and the guy says, Salaam alaikum, Sheikh. So I know that the guy wants to speak to me and he knows me. So immediately I put on the Sheikh face and, Wa alaikum salam. Yes, my brother. Yes, my brother. So the guy comes, and this is a real story. And the guy comes to me and he said, Sheikh, I have a problem. I said, what's your problem? He said, I'm married for 2 years and I have a beautiful daughter, but I don't love my wife. And I said, what do you mean? He said, I don't have this feeling inside towards my wife. The guy is young, he's like in his mid-20s. So I say, is she disobedient? He said, no, by Allah, she's righteous. She prays night prayer. She is fairly beautiful. She is an excellent housewife. She cooks and my family adores her more than me. You know, his mother, his father is, but I don't know what's wrong, Sheikh. And I said, I know what's wrong. Do you have work to do? He said, yes, I have a shop, a company that I work and I stay most of my time. I said, do you have a TV and a satellite dish? The receiver. He looked down, he said, yes. And I said, do you spend time on it? He said, watching movies and video clips and so on. I said, this is the reason, my friend. You see things and then you go and compare what you have. Definitely you start to evaluate and you think that what you have is nothing compared with what you see. This is where shaitan comes and gives you this feeling. You must fear Allah Azza wa Jal. And I gave him a 5-minute cliche of advice, asking him to divorce her so that Allah would grant her a better man than you, because seriously you don't deserve her. And the guy was shocked as usual, and alhamdulillah, he accepted it and he realized this is what mixing does to you. And this is when you see something, wallahi, even if she is the ugliest person on earth, shaitan will beautify her for you. And he said, see, your wife doesn't have what she does, what she has. While your wife might be a beauty queen compared to her, but shaitan comes. This is how he works. In the same fashion with men and women. Therefore, do not underestimate the power of shaitan. Shaking hands is totally prohibited among the non-mahrams. Let it be cultural. A lot of the brothers from Europe say that we may lose our jobs if we don't shake hands. This is cultural. If you see someone and she extends her hand and you don't shake hands, they consider it as an insult. And I might lose my job. What should I do? What do you say? Rizq is from Allah. Not only that, I ask the people who say this, what happens if you live in Mexico or in Spain? In Spain, they don't shake hands, they have to kiss. So if someone comes to you and you're Spain and she says, oh, hola, hola, you have to kiss here and there. So she said, cultural, okay. No, it's not okay. You have to draw the line. Your religion comes first. Your priorities come first, whether they like it or not. And this is why if you're in business transaction, you're in business meeting, you're forced to meet with a woman, and she comes, akhi, the moment she's introduced to you, this is so-and-so, keep your distance high. Do this. But if you say, hi, she's going to do this, what will you do? Then you put yourself in harm's way. No, you have to draw the line. You have to be more reserved, conservative. And at the end of the day, if you are okay with being stabbed in your head with a needle of steel, it's okay with me. طيب, moving on.
Hadith 980, page 646. Abu Hurairah radiallahu anhu said, the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said, you will not enter the garden until you believe.
Okay, change the garden, huh? The word garden is a little bit ambiguous. When you hear the garden, what do you think? It's a garden outside. University, mashallah, has a lot of gardens. So I will not enter the garden. I'm already in the garden. No, what is meant is Jannah. Jannah in linguistically is a garden. Surah Al-Kahf. He had 2 gardens, meaning 2 farms. Jannatan. And Allah says, وَلِمَنْ خَافَ مَقَامَ رَبِّهِ جَنَّتان. and to those who fear Allah's position will get 2 gardens. But the gardens in our English, gardens of Eden, paradise. So paradise usually is a better translation. Yes. You will not enter paradise.
You will not enter paradise until you believe, and you will not believe until you love one another. Shall I not show you something that will make you love one another?
Okay, I wrote in my translation, shall I tell you about something that will make you love one another? That's easier English. Shall I tell you about something that will make you love one another? Yes?
Shall I tell you about something that will make you love one another? They said, yes, Messenger of Allah. The Prophet said, spread the greeting amongst yourselves.
Okay, in between brackets, spread the greetings. In between 2 brackets, spread salam. Because greeting can be good morning, can be howdy, can be kale, can be aba khabar. Yes, the Jannatan, the 2 men who had dispute over the gardens. The ayah I quoted is Surah Al-Rahman. No, I spoke before that and I said about the Jannatan of the 2 men in the 4 stories of Surah Al-Kahf. Okay. First of all, spread salam. What is salam? In Arabic, salam means assalamu alaikum, the greeting. And another meaning of salam is peace. So when we have war versus peace, peace means salam. The hadith is indicating spreading peace, which is versus war, or the word of greeting. The word of greeting. What does salam mean actually? As-salam is one of Allah's name. One of Allah's beautiful names, As-salam. As mentioned in Surah Al-Hashr. In the هو الله الذي لا إله إلا هو عالم الغيب والشهادة هو الرحمن الرحيم هو الله الذي لا الملك القدوس السلام. So Allah is As-salam. So what do we mean when we say As-salamu alaykum? We mean that you are in Allah's protection and Allah is taking care of you. So this is like saying Allah ma'ak. Allah is with you. And some would say in other cultures, Allah hafiz. In the Urdu, they say Allah hafiz. The wrong way is Khuda hafiz. Khuda is not a name of Allah. So you cannot use this. Allah's names are fixed. We cannot come up with new names to Allah Azza wa Jal or describe Allah other than what He had described Himself. The Prophet said alayhi salatu wasalam, in an authentic hadith, As-salam is one of Allah's name. He placed it on earth for you to spread upon you or among yourselves. So the best greetings for us as Muslims is Assalamu alaikum. And when the Prophet said alayhi salatu wassalam, what is it? Spread the greeting among yourselves. What does this mean? Come on, you don't have to be a rocket scientist. Among you. Meaning this is among the Muslims. It is not to be used with the non-Muslims. It's clear, huh? Well, maybe. طيب. Therefore, spreading the greeting of salam cannot be except among the Muslims. Having said that, it doesn't mean that when I meet a non-Muslim, I curse him and I spit in his face. Why are you doing this? The Sheikh said, you only say salam to Muslims. Yeah, but the Prophet didn't tell us to be rude with non-Muslims. There is no problem in initiating greetings with the non-Muslims by saying good morning, good day, with the intention to call them to Islam to make them feel that Islam is a friendly religion. But to bring to them or to initiate Assalamu alaikum to them, this is prohibited. This is not permissible at all. The Prophet ﷺ was asked, which among Islamic etiquettes is best? What is best among the Islamic etiquettes? The Prophet said ﷺ, feeding the food and spreading the greeting of peace upon those you know and those you do not know. And unfortunately, I've been coming to Malaysia a lot, fortunately, but unfortunately, when I see Muslims in the lift, in the hotel, in the market, and I look at them, Assalamu alaikum. They do this. Rarely you find people exchanging, I don't know why. And the Malay are usually friendly people. But when it comes to Islamic terminologies and salam, they are a little bit reserved. And this is wrong. Now today here we're learning a very important etiquette. Spread the word, the greeting of peace. Anyone who you think is a Muslim, you should do what? Assalamu alaikum. And this is a habit. Those you know and those you don't know. Even a sister sees another sister and she doesn't say Assalamu alaikum. Why? She's hijabi. I don't know if she's Muslim or not. Excuse me. Yani we men have difficulties recognizing if he's a Muslim or not. Because not everyone you can tell. But if you are in a predominantly Muslim country like Saudi Arabia, if I see someone, do I give Salamu alaikum? Definitely yes. If he is a janitor, if he is whatever, how would I know he's Muslim? I don't have to. The majority are Muslims, so I suspect that he's a Muslim, so I give it the benefit of the doubt. But here, if you're a Muslim hijabi sister, you see another Muslim hijabi sister, you smile and say Salamu alaikum. Spread the word of peace as the Prophet said, As-salam is one of the characteristics of the Ummah of Muhammad. Sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Do you know that? The Prophet said, the Jews did not envy you over anything more than two. Salam and Ameen. Two things in our religion. And a lot of the Muslims, the Imam says, غَيْرِ الْمَغْضُوبِ عَلَيْهِمْ وَلَا He said, what's afterwards? Come on, finish. Let's finish. Alhamdulillah. Some of the brothers even in Surah Al-Waqi'ah say Ameen. ثُمَّ إِنَّكُمْ أَيُّهَا الْمُكَذِّبُونَ الضَّالُّونَ. In Fajr, Imam is reciting this and the guy said, Ameen. And then he wakes up. Oops. Too late. So the Jews are envious. Imagine. They envy us over salam and ta'meen. As the Prophet said in the authentic hadith sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. So spreading the salam is one of the sunnah. There are etiquettes. The scholars say the one who's riding gives salam to the one who's walking. So if you are in the car and you walk by someone walking, you lower your window and say Assalamu alaikum. This is the etiquette. And the one walking, passing by people sitting, he would give salam to the people. The little, few people pass by a bigger amount of men or a crowd, they give them salam. And the young give salam to the older. And if you do the opposite, it's okay, but this is the etiquette. The Prophet used to pass by the children and give salam. He would not say, no, I'm older, they should give me salam. So it is permissible to do this and that. طيب, which is best, to initiate salam or to respond to salam? Initiate, without any doubt. So why do you always have the lower hand? Why not always have the upper hand initiating salam? You meet someone, he looks at you in the eyes, in the market. You don't know him, but you think you know him. You look at him, he looks at you, you look at him, and there's a what are you doing? You said, I'm trying to establish contact. Let's see who will look down first. Akhi, this is not a showdown. You're a Muslim. You should have the upper hand. You should always try to go the extra mile in being the better, the kinder, the reward-seeking Muslim. So someone looks to you in the eye, you look at him in the eye, initiate. Say Assalamu alaikum. Why wait? There is something wrong in us. We always want people to come to us rather than we come to them. Islamically, you begin with the salam. This is exactly what was mentioned in the Prophet ﷺ's hadith. When he said, it is not permissible for a Muslim to abandon, to boycott his Muslim brother for more than 3 days. And the best one of them is the one who initiates salam. Question, why did the Prophet ﷺ say 3 days? I'm going to ask questions now, indicate questions to the people. So, inshallah, be careful. You'll be on camera. 3 days to abandon a Muslim? Yes. We are human. If I'm angered by the brother for something he did, it is unhuman to say, no, you're an angel, you're a sweetheart, forgive him. I need time. So Allah Azza wa Jal gives us 3 days to cool down, to forget, to try to reassess. Once you reassess, more than that would be what? Sinful. So the best of us who would initiate salam, because this means that I have the upper hand. And those who do not offer salam are stingy. The Prophet said, alayhi salatu, the most stingy among the Muslims is the one who does not offer salam. What would it cost you? How much would it cost you to give salam? Assalamu alaikum. That's it. Very easy. But if you hesitate, if you are reluctant from giving salam, this means that you have issues with generosity. The Prophet ﷺ, not the Prophet, Umar, I told you about this earlier, that he always says that when you give salam, what? Raise your voice. Don't come into a gathering and say Assalamu alaikum and expect people to hear you. Come with confidence. Assalamu alaikum. Everybody would hear you. They will reply to you. And also, Ibn Mas'ud says, may Allah be pleased with him, when a man gives salam to people and they reply to him, he has an extra edge. Allah gives him more reward than them because he's the one who initiated it. And if no one answers to you, what will happen? If I come and say Assalamu alaikum, no one answers me, what happens? Allah appoints someone better than you to reply and answer me. Who's that? An angel. Therefore, don't ever be hesitant or afraid that so many times I give salam to the brother, he doesn't reply. Who cares? The angel replies to you and gives dua to you and makes dua for you. And the Prophet ﷺ told us in this beautiful hadith that paradise, we cannot enter it until we do a number of things. Among them is to love one another. How can we love one another? By spreading salam. And unfortunately, do Muslims love one another nowadays? Some and some. The majority of us have things in our feelings. But if you want to love your brother, you exchange salam oftenly. So many times you see him, as often as you can, exchange salam. What else? What can I do to gain the love of my brother? Huh? Gifts. The Prophet says, tahadu, tahabu. Exchange gifts and you will love one another. And this is experimented. Subhanallah, no matter what you do between you and your brother, the moment you give him a gift, no matter how small it is, it melts frozen mountains of ice. Immediately, whatever you give to your brother, wallahi, it fills his heart with love to you. And the issue of gifts is a serious issue in Islam. Mother Aisha used to come to the Prophet, said, "O Prophet of Allah, I have neighbors. To whom should I give gifts?" What did he say? To the closest to you. Now you look in your houses, in your apartments, in your buildings, in your compound where you live. When was the last time you gave your neighbor? I don't even know my neighbor's name. I don't even know how he looks like. If someone of my neighbors come and rings on my doorbell, I look from the hole and I tell my children to turn the lights off so that he will not know that there is light behind me. And I look, oh, it's my neighbor. Until he goes. Why is that? Because our hearts are not filled with the Islamic way, the way that I was brought up upon. When I was little, wallah, I remember every single day, my mom gives me a tray of food. And she says, go to our neighbor so-and-so, says, mom says, hi, here is some food. And I do this every single day to all the neighbors in the house. And is this the only routine? No. They return the dish with the tray with another type of food. And their children come, my mother says, hi, this is food for you. And this is why we had so good relationship with everybody around us. We know each and every one of them. And this used to happen with me when my wife was pregnant. She gave birth. Who cooks in the house? No one. No one cooks in the house. The neighbors, they start to make a schedule. Okay, Saturday on you, Sunday on you, Monday on you. Everybody collaborate and help this woman in need. And if one of them's neighbors' wives has the same thing, my wife assists by cooking and allocating a date. Nowadays, do we have this? Wallah, we don't even know who our neighbors are. The Prophet, even the kafir neighbors of his, he used to send them food. Then there is something wrong with our Islam. This is why people are not accepting Islam. This is why we're failing to carry on the message of the Prophet alayhi as-salatu was-salam. Nowadays, not only with the Muslims, again, the issue of showdown, the issue of looking at the brother in the mall while walking and pretending that I'm not seeing him. And he pretends that he's not seeing me. And we walk by. This is something wrong in me. If I'm trying to avoid the brother, if I see a da'i in the mall walking, a famous da'i, I'm a famous da'i as well. So he should come and say salam. No, ya akhi, be moderate and come down from your ivory tower and give salam. Imam Ahmad ibn Hanbal, anyone greater than Imam Ahmad at his time? He used to send salams to all the da'is, the scholars that anyone knows in all the countries. Why? He said, I heard that you are a man of sunnah. and I wanted to exchange salam and to give you my greetings. Anyone who is abiding by the sunnah, he used to write to him. If someone's traveling to that country, when you go to that country, Sheikh so-and-so, go to him and say, Imam Ahmad says, Assalamu alaikum, you are a man of sunnah, may Allah make you steadfast. When do we do this? By the way, footmark. I learned this from Sheikh Munajjid. Sheikh Munajjid, whenever I sit with him, he says, how is Sheikh so-and-so? How is Sheikh so? When you travel to India, give my regards to Dr. Zakir Naik. He's a man of sunnah, and I'd like you to give salam to him. And I give salam to him. Sheikh give salam to him. Okay, I'm a postman. What is this? Giving salam to this. I have something more important to do. But it's good. So when you see such caliber of shuyukh, of du'at, implementing the sunnah and thinking not of their own ego, but rather on enforcing Allah's religion, trying to give advice to be steadfast on deen, you appreciate this deen more and more.